Hi there, it's Chris Hamilton here with bookkeepingautomation.com and entermyinvoice.com. And we're on to tip number 16 of the bookkeeping and accounting marketing tips. And in this tip, I'm going to show you how to 4-hour work week your practice and double your income, which is quite intriguing. Well, let me put a caveat on it. It's not really a 4-hour work week. It's a 5-hour work week. So basically what I'm telling you to do in this example here is work 1 hour a day, but gain massive efficiencies. So how do you do this? If you're using QuickBooks Online, plus a platform, an accounts payable platform like Bookkeeping Automation. And if you want to know what Bookkeeping Automation does, we take paper copies of invoices and receipts. We take PDFs or images. It goes into our system. We extract the line items or summary information, attach GLs to it and taxes and splits and everything else that you need to do with the rules around your bookkeeping. And we allow it to sync with QuickBooks Online. So both those will reduce your time spent doing stuff. So anyways, if you have something like if you have QuickBooks Online, what you can do is bring the bank feeds in. You can also bring credit card feeds in. So that gets rid of a lot of the manual entry side of things. The other side too is if you have paper copies of your bank feeds or your bank statements or your credit card statements, we could take that information and put it in as well. And then everything else, pull data from your paper or your PDF invoices, like I just said. By combining QuickBooks Online with Bookkeeping Automation or our other corporate platform, which is entermyinvoice.com, then you can dramatically reduce the amount of time that you spend on the bookkeeping or the accounting side of things. So literally what we see is you can do reduction of the manual entry up to 80%. So if you start looking at this, and depending on specific clients and the requirements that you have, now what you do is assume for every 4 hours you were working, now it's basically 1 hour of time. That's the kind of efficiencies that you're going to gain. So here are the steps to doing this, to kind of 5-hour work weeking your practice. So I'm going to use this specifically as a bookkeeper. If I say bookkeeper and you're an accountant, pull bookkeeper out, put accountant in. But this is a bookkeeping example. So step one, hire yourself a part-time bookkeeper that'll work for you. And PayScale.com says the average bookkeeper makes $19 an hour in Canada, where I am. It depends on where you are around the world watching this. Step two. Now, because you've gained these efficiencies, you can still charge your clients based on the value you're providing. So I would still charge the clients at that $4 for every 1 hour that you're working now. And the other thing too is bill out at $30+ an hour. Now, here's where things change a little bit from the normal, what you're used to is, as it relates to a part-time bookkeeper, get them to start scanning the invoices and receipts and then bringing them into the onto bookkeepingautomation.com so that the GL codes can be assigned and everything like that. Then what happens is when you've got all this information sitting, say, in our system, you can review the expenses, look at the line items, apply GL codes to them, and get things lined up. And then what you do is you sync it with your QuickBooks Online. And then, last but not least, is invoice your clients for the value that you've provided for them. So once again, if you're doing something in 1 hour and it would normally take 4 hours, same thing, charge them for the 4 hours at that rate that you have, but you've just become way more profitable. So here's the numbers as it relates to this, and taking your practice to kind of that 5-hour work week is, your part-time bookkeeper costs. Let's just assume you hire a part-time bookkeeper at $20 an hour, or 20 hours a week at $19 an hour. Their pay is going to be $380. That doesn't include benefits or anything that you may be providing to them, but let's just say it's $380 a week. Now, if you're charging 30 hours or $30 an hour for the 80 hours of efficiency gains, that means you're pulling in $2,400 in revenue. Now, our software does cost, so what happens is the invoices you have that you scan or bring into our system, we charge at a per page basis. So assuming that the amount of hours this person is scanning, and based on how many scans go through and how many for the clients, I'm going to make assumption there's about 960 pages for that 1 hour's worth of work, which our costs are $384. It's probably less. based on the fact that invoices come in, they have multiple line items, and you're getting charged less for that sort of stuff. Anyways, total costs all in for your bookkeeper plus the bookkeeping automation scanning costs are $764 about. Could be lower, could be higher. Now, your profit is $2,400 that you're bringing in, less the $764, which is equal to $1,636 as revenue. And if you take that number and divide it by the 5 hours, or the 1 hour per week that you're going to be spending, or 1 hour per day that you're going to be spending just reviewing the information that goes into your client's QuickBooks Online, basically now you have effectively increased your hourly rate to $327.20 an hour. That is based on what PayScale says as $19 an hour for the average cost of a bookkeeper. That is a 17 times increase in your hourly or the average hourly wage. Now, if you look at this on a monthly basis at $19 per hour times 160 hours in a month, that's $3,040 monthly income coming in. Now, if you're working at 20 hours a month at that $327.20 an hour, now what happens is your monthly income is coming in at $6,540 per month. So in essence, what you're doing is you're more than doubling your salary, yet only working at 1/8 of a full-time equivalent of a job. So you're only doing 12% of the 160 hours a month that you would normally work as a full-time person. You're only doing 20 hours. So here's the other kicker on this, is that as you use a system like ours, bookkeeping automation, what we do is people are creatures of habits. They'll go to 80% of the time, they'll end up going to the same vendors over and over and over again. What happens is our system will start memorizing those transactions, applying GLs, applying any rules against it. So what happens is you also further reduce your time the more that you use the system. So you become way more effective. So that in essence is how you can 5-hour work week your income, or 5-hour work week, what you're doing, and double your income at the same time. So I'll tell you what, if you want to try a free 30-day trial of our software, go to bookkeepingautomation.com, and there's a button on the website that says free trial. Click on that. Once you do, you'll get signed in. Once you get signed into our system, someone will reach out to you and onboard you and get you going on the process and get you up and running. So there you go.